Hey, Bryn, how you doing today?
I am good, and I'm going to say something controversial, and I know I'm not supposed to say controversial things. However, I had a wonderful weekend because the Cowboys lost.
Oh my goodness.
I shouldn't have said that, right?
Yeah, and
My
I'm
Eagles
sure
play
we.
tonight, so fingers crossed. Your Giants
Oh,
have beat them pretty bad lately, but I'm hoping that my Eagles do
yeah,
okay.
that was kind of a surprise for a lot of us. The last game. So yeah, there are a few on tonight.
Yep,
Um,
we're on
so
at 8, so
at 8.
you
Okay.
know what I'll be doing.
Okay. Yes, indeed. I don't know who are they playing. Do you know who
Okay,
they're
that's not
playing?
fair. I
Yeah,
should know.
because I thought they're playing someone that they should beat, but in the playoffs, you never
Oh, we should.
know.
Yeah, I think maybe Tampa Bay.
Oh, the Buccaneers. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Very cool.
Well, go
Well,
Birds.
yes, playoffs are always exciting and interesting.
They are.
So
All right, let's get into the world
good.
of Sales Navigator, my friends.
Yes, I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I tie the NFL playoffs into Sales Navigator? And I totally failed. So we'll
Well,
we'll
wait,
just
I can bridge it. Ready? I'm going to
there you
bridge
go.
it. As we are now focused on home games and home team advantages, let's talk about the home page on
Great.
Sales Navigator.
Awesome.
Okay.
Very well done. Because yep, home field advantage is a huge deal in the playoffs and throughout the season, but especially the playoffs because it's win or go home.
That's right.
With Sales Navigator's homepage, which is what we'll be talking about today, it's not quite as dramatic. It's not quite winner go home. But we just wanted to talk about a few features that are easy to overlook or underutilize, just because I don't know if any of you are like me, but if I see the same thing over and over again, eventually it just starts to, it's like advertisements. After a
Mhm.
while, I just stop seeing it. And so there
You
may be
might
things
sing the
on yeah,
jingle, but you don't remember the brand.
the brand. Yes.
Anyway.
Yes. And so yeah, we figured the same may be true on your Sales Navigator homepage from time to time. There are fields, there are capabilities that you look at, but have never really clicked into. So I want to start with one that's not quite at the top of the page, but it is the search bar. Because most of us will go directly to our lead filters or our account filters or to save searches. We'll come back to save searches at the end and dive right in there. But don't forget that there's also this nice big search bar that you can use to search for keywords anywhere in a profile, or you can use Boolean search
Mhm.
to search for multiple keywords if you want to. So if I don't know if you want to search for CEO and nonprofits, you can drop that in there. Of course, you can also do that in another search, or you can also use the or feature
Mhm.
if you want to kind of broaden the search. But the point being that don't forget about that search field at the top of your homepage
Yeah,
because you can.
I use it a lot. I don't use it as much on the homepage. I'll tell you where I use it on the homepage in a moment. But when I am searching in the searches now, I know I'm off topic, but when I am in lead searches, and let's say I'm looking for people that have a specific designation, CFP, where it
Yep,
may not be
yep,
their role, but it's something I'd love to see, in search. I'll use that
mhm,
search for there. So I think you can start there. Like if you wanted to search for just CFPs, it's not, no one has a CFP as a title or a role, but
yeah, yeah,
that this search is
exactly.
searching the entire profile.
Yep.
So any of those keywords. Now I'll tell you how I do use it from the home page. when I want to go back and look at my past searches. So, who did I search before? When I click on it, it'll show you the people that I've clicked through. It'll show you some of those Boolean searches. It will even show me the last two saved searches. So I can easily hop into an old save search. And sometimes it'll have the new results of one of those saved searches right from that search bar. So that's where I
Mm.
love to use it on the home page. It really does save me some time.
That is a fabulous idea, and that's a perfect example of I don't know what the technical term is, but just blindness for me because when I click in there, I see my past searches all the time, but just tend to overlook them.
You know
And
they're
so
there, but you're like,
yep,
yeah,
yeah.
but you'll
So
still go
that's a
the
great
long way to get
example.
there. It's kind
Exactly.
of like I see the shortcut on my GPS, but I'm really used to taking the long way. So I'm just going to go that way.
Yes. Yep. But that's such a great example because now that I
Cool.
look back, it's oh yeah, you can do that. That's neat.
Yes.
So good. So that's the search bar and a couple of different ways that you can use it. The next one is one that it's easy to overlook, which is highlights.
Mm,
Now, truth be told, highlights is one that I say, hey, this is great, and it scrolls through some of your major saved accounts. And mine, 9 times out of 10, it's accounts that have been mentioned recently in the news, which tends to be larger
me too.
accounts. So yours is also tends to be mentioned in the news as opposed to like a
Um,
funding event or something else.
yeah, and I will tell you, don't tell anyone, but I had X'd this out because I didn't see any value in it, but went to refind it so I could be prepared for today. So I do have it back on. And all I see, and maybe it's because I haven't been here, is there's only 3 accounts that are highlighted for me. And these are the whales, right? We
Yeah.
mostly sell into, emerging mid-sized companies with 10 or more sales reps, like that sort of that have Sales Navigator. And that's kind
Mhm.
of our niche. And
Exactly.
I have saved some big ones, but all I see is Hewlett Packard, Accenture, and Oracle. Now,
Yeah.
believe me, they are on my list, but I'm not that those are all like really complex long-term sales that are going to take a while. And there's only 3 that are highlighted. You can star an account here if you want to, and you can
Yep.
actually X out the account. But what I notice is even when I X out the account, it doesn't bring in a new one. I now only have 2 instead of 3. So
3. Yeah.
while I do think there's potential here, I believe LinkedIn needs to incorporate AI a little bit more into the search. And so that it really is pulling up highlights based on the companies you're in the most.
Yep. Yep. That is a great point because as you said, if when you X them out, it would replace it with something
It
that may
doesn't.
be of value.
Right.
It would be
Like you
wonderful,
could
but it doesn't
teach
do
it
that.
what you like. That would be nice if you could say, "Oh, this is a good one." And then they
Yeah.
go, "Oh, we'll show her more of her saved accounts like this one instead
Yep.
of just those highlights." But, look, I love Sales Navigator, but on a weekly basis, we've got advice for them because we know better.
Yeah, yeah, we know what we use all the time and
Yes,
what
that's
we
true.
don't use, which can be just as valuable for them to know. And as you point out, with AI, I'm hoping one of the things it will empower us to do is have more choice in terms of what we do want to see, like highlighted as an example. So rather
Right.
than
Like,
have Sales Nav choose it for us.
yeah, and there is the ability to start an account. So maybe all the highlights are your start accounts. Now that would be valuable.
Yes, and it's funny, we're going to get to another one called priority accounts, which is kind of further down the page. But as we get deeper into the world of AI, hopefully some of these things will be coming in our direction as they
Absolutely.
listen to us. Now, another one that they have done, and it again, it's kind of under the radar, is a lot of us used to looking at alerts. Um, if you hadn't looked at alerts recently, you might not have noticed that you can kind of pull up alerts by lists now, which can be helpful because once upon a time you couldn't do it. You could just do your lead alerts, your account alerts. But now under each one, you can actually dive in and pick a particular list that you've set up and say, hey,
Okay,
show me the alerts.
welcome to my mic drop moment today. I did not see that as a new filter. That is awesome. Absolutely
So,
crazy awesome. So just
yes.
to kind of go down, what is that? We create account lists. We find accounts that meet certain criteria. So for example, we have for amazing book. I think it's called Whale Hunting by Barbara Weaver Smith. It's amazing, and it's about the Inuit tribe in Alaska where they all work together to kill one whale a year that feeds and clothes and does everything they need for their entire
Wow.
right. And so it's true
Weird.
ABM. It's true ABM. Like everyone works together.
Wow.
There are some people that are just responsible for making the oars for the boat, and there are some people that are just responsible for making the gloves that when they get wet they don't freeze. All these like some that are responsible for the spears, some that are responsible for making the nets, but all of them work together to catch the
Mm,
whale. So my list for the oracles, the HPs, the Accentures,
yeah.
the ones that were coming up in my highlights, are all under whale hunting. What I love, so I have 62 accounts that are my dream accounts that every month or two I put my mind around going into some of them. All of them have very long sales cycles. So I don't like them to be in my typical prospecting mode. I want to be in a
Mhm.
different mindset. This is magic now because I can now choose my whales and I can go
It's
through and engage appropriately with the mindset of a longer sales cycle,
mm,
right? Like I'm just
yeah,
approaching it very differently.
differently. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So that was one nice thing that they just kind of slipped in there, but it can be super valuable, as you just pointed out. So, yep, so have a look at one additional way you can use the list that you've already set up.
love it.
And and next is book of business. And for those of you who have big books of business and so forth, when you're building lists, one way to save a click, basically, in terms of jumping into your account lists, is to go down to the right side of the page, just above personas, actually, it's at the
Mhm,
top,
mhm.
and select the list that you want to work from. And if you, I
I
believe this
have
is
my
only
little trick
available.
around this.
Okay. Because the only other thing I was going to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you have to be an advanced
I think you
user
have to
to
be
be able to
advanced or
upload.
advanced plus to upload.
To
Yes.
upload, yeah.
So I'm going to talk about that. So I don't have a book of business. Well, I do, but I don't have it here. Where I see this coming in and where I've used this with my clients has been I had one client that had, I think, like 35, I'm making up the number, in the 30s, number of accounts that were assigned to him. In fact, he was in Chicago and had a huge network. A new manager came in and he was relocated and had new accounts with no connections. and no network. Well, somebody else had his network in Chicago. I felt very bad for him. But anyway,
Whoa.
uploading contacts was going to the CRM and downloading a CSV or Excel spreadsheet of all of his accounts and all of the decision makers that are in the CRM. And
Mhm.
so there were lots of fields, and then he would go in and upload it, and you can um, map the fields to everything from website URL to city to even their stock symbol if it's in your CRM. So you tell LinkedIn or Sales Navigator, this is their name, this is the company, right? What each field
Yep.
is, and it
Mhm.
will upload the entire spreadsheet. It will save your accounts, save your leads, and I mean, it's really, really
Sweet.
powerful. And you'll name that. It's like I had whale
Yeah.
hunting as a name. I have banking as one of my categories. This category we said assigned accounts from CRM.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
that saved an awful lot of time.
Wow. Yeah, the fact that it saves the accounts and saves the leads is that's beautiful. So
Yeah,
all
and
you have to do is get the fields right.
you get the fields right and you name the category and you're good to go.
That is sweet. All right. Good. So that is book of business. It's from what I've seen the quickest way to get to your account list once you've set them up. Um,
Mhm.
Personas. We've talked about personas many times, which is probably a sign that they may change the name on us sometime soon because that's what tends to happen. but
Right.
but they are a helpful way of setting up kind of high level filters.
Mhm.
And what Bryn has pointed out, which has been super helpful, is particularly if you have large accounts, those personas are extremely helpful when it
Mhm.
comes to searching for decision makers within accounts.
Mhm.
So when you're doing your general prospecting, so to speak, and you really want to get super targeted, go ahead and use the regular lead filters because there are more of them. You can be very, very targeted. But if you've got an account like you mentioned an Oracle or an Accenture or a Cisco or whatever the case may be, tens of thousands of employees, go ahead and just overlay the persona
One
in your
toggle, one drop
search.
down.
Yep.
Yep.
And it'll save you a lot of time in terms of searching within accounts. So next, priority accounts. And Bryn, you mentioned starring accounts, which is one of the things that the highlights make it super easy for you to do. If there's an account that you haven't starred yet and it comes across highlights, you can just click the star button. The accounts that you star are stored, say that 3 times fast,
Yeah.
under priority accounts, which is kind of a little bit further down in the right side of your home page. So if you easily want to see the accounts that you've starred that kind of say, I want to come back to this real quick when I've got more time or whatever the case may be, you can just, and in this case, you don't even have to scroll down right under personas. On the right, you'll see my priority accounts. And they do say recently saved accounts, and that is true, but counterintuitively, your most recently saved accounts appear at the bottom of the list rather than I would have thought that they would be at the top of the list because you've recently saved them. But I guess what they do is they put the starred accounts at the top, and if you save an account without starring it, that one just drops to the bottom.
So I am seeing some really interesting things. One of them, I had a client that I did some teaching when I was out in Oklahoma, where met Gunnar Hood in person, which was so much fun.
Yes.
And their start account because I star my clients, And it shows that people from that account, and I'm going to go when we're done and dive down, are looking at my smart links.
Ooh,
And then I have one that says
nice.
looking, people from this company are looking at your profile. So that's great.
Mm, okay. That is a very
And I
good
haven't thought about that
sign.
account in a good 6 or 7 months. Like, if people are looking, maybe they need more training.
Yes, down and looking at your smart links, because this is one of the things that since you're seeing this right now, are you both getting notified via email that they're looking at your smart links, or when you go to priority accounts, is it also giving you something that says, "Hey, Bryn, they're looking at your smart links"?
Yeah. So I did get an email about the smart links, and I don't think I got an email about the
S-
viewing my profile.
Priority.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
but I have to look.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that's viewing my profile is Sales Gravy, and I'm
Yeah.
headed there again in March. So I'm sure that's like I might have ignored that if I not that ignored because they're very 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 important, but it's not. I wouldn't have taken action on someone from there viewing my profile specifically, but
Yeah.
viewing my smart link is huge, right? They're engaged.
Yes.
They're talking about it.
Yes.
So I'm
Exactly.
pretty sure I got that. No, did I ignore it? This is the interesting thing. I get a lot of emails. And I get a lot of email notifications from LinkedIn and Sales Navigator. So there
Hmm.
is a chance, because I don't recall seeing it, that I quickly went, it's just a Sales Navigator notification. And when I get into Sales
Yep.
Navigator, I'll handle it.
I'll look at
But
it. Yeah.
it's on my homepage to remind me. So that's really great.
Yep. Okay. Because that's exactly what I was trying to get at is this is a way that your homepage can really help you
Hmm.
by bringing things into visibility that a lot of us have full email inboxes. So it doesn't hurt to have a few different ways to be notified of things.
Hmm.
Good. And then the last one that we'll wrap up with, because the time always flies, is save searches. And again, I know a lot of you are looking at your save searches all the time, but for those that don't, it's a quick reminder that save searches are something else you can get to from your home page just by having a quick look at the top, jump in, see what's happening with your save searches, look for new search results in there and see who may be a potential prospect for you. Bryn,
And I
any
live
other?
I live in my save searches. I mean, I really do. So I love that it's
Yep.
one click from the homepage.
Yes.
Can I throw in
Yes.
a bonus one real quick?
Absolute bonuses are wonderful.
Okay. So as we're talking about the alerts and now this wonderful alert around account lists, often I'm spending the time in my alerts in off hours, evenings, when I can't sleep at 3 in the morning. Um, and I want to engage, but often I want to engage during business hours. So they see the notification come over, it's an extra touch. So I use bookmarks. So if you look at the alerts, there's a little tiny bookmark. It looks like a ribbon
Mhm.
in every alert. So
Yeah.
I will at night go ahead and bookmark the things I want to act on later. And then I will click
Yeah.
on bookmarks and I have my to-do list.
Wow. Awesome bonus. Awesome bonus
Yay.
because the little bookmarks are something that we look at all the time. And it's like, well, when am I going to use this? But that is a perfect example. That thanks, Bryn, as always. It's this one. We got several nuggets throughout, but this is an awesome note to wrap up on because this is one where people say, Hmm. Never thought of that.
Right. Well, I did.
Yep.
And you know what,
Yes.
Stan? I mean, this, and I say this every time. I love doing this for our audience. I love sharing insights. I love adding value, but I'm also slightly selfish. And this is really the time, as much as we work together in many different projects, where we each really teach the ways that we're using this that the other may not, right? So the fact that I am not using the account list, I am so grateful. It may have been our next training before I'd ever even have known that, had we not had that conversation. So selfishly, this is one of the best half hours of the week, and I really appreciate you for that.
Thank you. And I appreciate you because I always get phenomenal nuggets. So thank you, Bryn. And everyone, we will see you soon. Just to wrap up, if you would like access to some free resources, check out Social Sales Link's content library. If you go to socialsaleslink.com/library,
Yep, it's that
you'll find
easy.
it right there.
And if you're
Okay.
watching live, you can scan the code at the top. That'll take you there. But right, socialsaleslink.com/library. Stan Robinson Jr., my friend, I appreciate you and had so much fun today.
Same here. Thank you, Bryn. And we'll see everybody soon. Bye now.